Hello friends. Now let us take up the concept number 7, 18.7 points to focus. So far I have explained many points to you, and you must remember each and every point when you are writing exception handling code. That's why let us review all the points one by one. Thereafter, we go to the next step, next phase of exception handling mechanism. Actually, writing exception handling mechanism is not compulsory at all. If you want to bear the consequence of the failure of the program, then you need not write an exception handling code. Writing exception handling code is a overhead. The size of the program is increased. For writing exception handling code, you have to spend more time, some time. Understand? But no exception happens, no exception is identified and thrown. All this exception handling code is ignored. That already explained to you. Because of your exception handling code embedded in your Java project or program, the program's fault tolerance is increased and it will become robust. For all simple errors committed by the users, the program will not collapse, will not be terminated, and those mistakes are communicated to the user and user can rectify. Always remember, already two bank ATM examples I have given. Those are the best examples. Any layman also can understand them very easily. So always remember them, and for that purpose we write exception handling code in Java. It is standardized code. Whatever may be the size of the program, when you read the code, you can easily identify Java exception handling code. That's why your reading never be hampered. It never create an obstruction for your smooth reading of the code. How you can read, how smoothly you can read a Java program in absence of exception handling code. In presence of exception handling code also, with the same ease, you can go through that. That is the elegance of Java exception handling code. That point you have to understand. Now, I identified around 15 points which you must remember, and I briefly explain to them. Always, if concepts are little complicated, it is a right strategy to master things. After certain part of chapter is over, you review everything and write a list of points. Thereafter you proceed. In this way, depending on the size of the chapter, if you write points like this and all that, it will be easy for you. In the next revision, just at a glance, a matter of 10 minutes, you can recall all the important points. Routine points, obviously, you can remember, and somewhat typical or critical points, by reading them, you can easily understand. Now I explain. Try and catch. These are two blocks. We must create blocks. Without creating blocks, we cannot use them. And every try block must be followed by one or more catch blocks. Immediately after try block, we must write either one or more catch blocks. That's the first point. Second one, you should not write any statements between try block and catch block, or catch block and catch block. So suppose this is the try block. Okay, this is the catch block. Okay, this is another catch block. Okay, now what I mean to say, you should not write any code here. At the same time, you should not write any other code. Okay, what are the codes you want to write? You must write here, and you write here, and in between you should not write any code. That point you must remember. And in try block, you write such a code which may throw an exception. That means where scope of throwing exception is there, that type of code only you have to write here. You should not write any other code. Where routine statements and all that you should not write. Already I showed to you. Where the scope of creating arithmetical exception is there, such code only you have written. If you want to write relevant some of the statements, you write. There is nothing wrong. But one thing, for one type of error prone code, exception prone code, one try block you have to create separately. So multiple exception prone codes you should not write in one try block. That point also you must remember. Thereafter, whenever an exception is identified, Java runtime system converts into an object, and that is called exception object. Already I told you there are 50 types, 27 types of exception classes and 23 types of error classes are there. So that is converted into one of the types of the exception class object, and that is thrown from here. That is, whenever it is identified, one exception is identified, then what happened? Corresponding object is created. Array index out of bound exception object, arithmetic exception object, null pointer exception object, like that object is created and it is thrown as an object because this is object oriented programming. That's why Java does not know to deal with non-object oriented elements. That point you must remember. Thereafter, corresponding catch block catches it. This point actually in future concepts I will explain. However, I just want to give a briefing. Here the scope for A object, B object and C object. That means from one type of code there is scope of 3 types of errors. That I will tell you. I don't want to give any abstract information. From this try block code there is scope of A, B, C types of exceptions. Then what should you do? You must engage 3 types of doctors here. This is A doctor, this is B doctor, this is C doctor. In catch blocks, you put the doctors. Exception handling code means doctors. So let us take the example. Now that many number you have to put. Suppose A is thrown, then this doctor gives the treatment. Now C is thrown. First C is thrown, then E not the relevant doctor, E not the corresponding doctor, then it handles. Let us suppose D. Actually you predicted only 3 types of exceptions, A, B, C, but it throws D type that you never predicted, but there is no exception handling code. There is no corresponding catch block, no doctor is available. Then what happens? The default exception handling mechanism enters into the field and it searches for a doctor here or elsewhere in any caller method. It is not there, then it immediately terminates the program. That point always you remember that. So here how many types of exceptions may be thrown, that many types of doctors catch blocks you have to create. Understand? That is very important point. I will show you in the next concepts. Next, first point, every exception is transformed as an object and it is thrown. Thereafter, this I explained, corresponding catch block catches it and handles it. And catch block contain exception handling code only. Actually, they contain only exception handling code, nothing else. Those are meant for, because those are meant for giving treatment. Suppose a VIP is there, an ambulance is created. In ambulance, what should be stored? what are the relevant for a particular treatment, all the treatments you have to put. Some other important things and all that you have to put in catch block. Why? If no accident occurs and all that, it is totally ignored. That's why in catch blocks, you put only corresponding exception handling code, nothing else at all.